After installing and updating Android Studio, you're ready to start creating projects. You can create a brand new Android Studio project from the first link on the welcome screen. In the first dialog, you're asked to choose a template for your first activity. An activity is a screen if you're building an application for phones and tablets. You can create an application that has no activity and then create everything else from scratch, or you can choose one of these templates. The basic activity creates an application with 2 screens, bottom navigation with 3 different displays managed by tabs at the bottom, and there are many other templates for various purposes. The simplest available template is called the empty activity. It gives you a simple empty screen with just a little bit of text being displayed. On this screen, you're asked to configure your project. The app name can be anything you like. The package name is a universally unique ID. You make it universally unique by starting it with reverse domain notation. You take your company's or organization's URL, you reverse the first 2 elements, so example.com would become com.example, and then you append anything else you like. Because you own that domain, you can control the uniqueness of the ID. The application project can be put anywhere on your hard disk. It is, however, recommended that you put it in a directory that doesn't have any spaces. The language is the primary programming language for the application. Android is now a Kotlin-first development environment, and so in this course I'll be building all of my apps using Kotlin, but if you prefer to use Java, it's still supported. The minimum SDK is the earliest version of Android that your app will work on. The default is API 16, Android 4.1, and that will let your app run on almost 100% of devices that are currently in use. But you might find that you have to support a lot of functionality and do a lot of testing for those older devices, so you might choose, as I do, to set your minimum SDK at a more recent version. I like going back as far as API 19, Android 4.4, just to reduce the amount of testing I have to do. But if you're not sure, you can click on this link and find out what percentage of devices you'll get with each minimum SDK, and you'll also find out what features you might be giving up by making a particular choice. Finally, there's an option down here to use what are called legacy Android.support libraries. I don't recommend selecting that option. All of the old libraries that had domains starting with Android.support now have versions that start with Android X, and those versions are being actively maintained by Google. These older versions, not so much. I'll click Finish, and that creates the project. And once the project has been created, you might see this Tip of the Day dialog welcoming you to Android Studio 4.0. You can scroll through the tips while you wait for the project to be built in the background. Just keep an eye on the display in the bottom center, and when that clears, that means you're ready to work on your new Android project.